We are live. It's this week's Comic Hall and Roundtable discussion. It is the We Got Love edition. Just kidding with y'all, man. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody else out there. There is no love on the panel tonight. We've got Al, who is in the house tonight. We've got TC, who is in the house tonight. The resident Black Panther man, who is excited. He's been waiting. He's been counting down the days, and his icon will be released tomorrow. We'll be discussing that tonight, and we'll also be discussing a plethora of other things. But first, good evening, fellas. How y'all doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
I'm good, man. Can't complain. Feel the echo, but other than that, I'm good.
All right. Is it super loud?
No, it's disappeared now.
Yeah, it's gone now.
Yeah, it's gone.
All right, good. Well, let's go ahead and get right down to business, fellas, and let's talk about this thing here. Capcom has embarrassed themselves once again. It seems like every time we watch the show, we talk about we bring this up on the show. Capcom finds a way to kind of outdo themselves per se, and this time they have actually removed their own game from their own tour. So that would say that Marvel versus Capcom Infinite is a complete failure. Would that not, fellas?
To a degree, I
100%.
agree. To agree. And your phone agrees too.
Yeah, it sure does. So let's we've talked about the negative with Capcom, but let's put on the shirt and tie, and let's play the role of Capcom. Al, I'm going to start with you. Al, if you today were in the CEO position of Capcom, head of fighting game development or what have you, what would you do as far as turning the tide here? What kind of moves do you think they could make right now to fix this? Because they right now, and this is unprecedented now. This is the first time. I would rate this actually worse than Street Fighter V because you got a game that's not. Street Fighter V was at least on the circuit, but now you got a game that's not even on the circuit. So Al, how would you handle this situation here?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, first off, thank you for joining us on this wretched day that we call Valentine's Day. We're glad to have you. Nonetheless, if I was the CEO, and thank you for letting me have the floor, Mr. Odom. If I was the CEO of Capcom, the first thing I do is get rid of whoever is in R&D development that are making these decisions to put out the games that they put out thus far pertaining to how the Street Fighter V was handled. And how Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was handled. That would be the first thing that I would do. The second thing that I would do is that I would actually listen to the fans. Capcom has a long storied library of games. And I think Capcom is pretty much shooting themselves in the foot. Capcom, to a certain degree, have limited themselves to 3, maybe 4 properties. To my knowledge, Resident Evil, Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom, and now they've released Monster Hunter. Back in the day, they had a plethora of titles that you could choose from: Bionic Commando, Strider, Ghouls and Ghosts, Onimusha, which is going to be brought up a little bit later on today, this evening. I would actually task someone to try to bring some of these games back and try to capture the essence of what they had before. There's no reason why they have the library of games that they have, and they had them on the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and are not doing anything with them for the current generation system. So that's what I would do. In the realm of the fighting game community, there's 3 games in particular that people have been clamoring about, aside from Marvel vs. Capcom, which has turned out to be a failure. And let me just say this, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you all have been watching our show consistently, but TC and Matt can vouch for this. Everything that has been said about, all these big time people, Maximilian, the Evo people, we've already said. And some people have accused us of being hateful when in actuality, we have our ears to the streets, so to speak, just like everyone else. When we gave our complaints and our gripes about Marvel's Capcom Infinite, some people say, "Oh, y'all too hard." But then when Evo, the head of Evo and the co-head of Evo say the same thing, that just validates what we've been saying all along. But I mean, they need to go back to the drawing board. They need to bring out, they need to re-release a lot of their older games, revamp them, put them on current generation systems. If they could do remakes, that would probably help the situation in and of itself. As far as fighting games, and I'm hearing that echo just a little bit, but as far as fighting games, Darkstalkers has been a game that people have been asking for years. A remake of Darkstalkers. People were hoping that more than Jetta would show up on Marvel's Capcom Infinite, but they went back with Morgan, trying to keep it safe. Power Stone is another game. If they're going to keep that, if they're going to focus on their fighting game aspect, Power Stone is another game. Darkstalkers is another game. Rival Schools is a game that people have been asking about for years, because the last Rival Schools game came out, what, fellas, the Dreamcast?
You're talking 2002?
Project Justice.
Project Justice, right. So you're talking about almost 20 years that anyone has seen anybody in the form of that game on any platform. So I think Capcom needs to listen to their fans. Even though they focus on the fighting game community a lot, they need to focus on the casual gamers such as myself, TC, Larry, X, anyone else that normally would play a fighting game, but not necessarily play it with the intent, I'm going to enter the Capcom Cup, because that takes a lot of time, practice, and quite frankly, all of us have, 9 to 5, except of course Matt, he's a freelancer. He works when he wants to work for the most part, but he still works. Plus, we are of age to where we don't have that type of time to devote that type of attention to a game. So they need to focus on us, the casual gamer, the people that have actually kept them in business for all these years. So I think with those particular aspects, changing the guard as far as who's ever in charge of certain things, re-releasing or reintroducing a lot of the games that that made them who they are, and also focusing on games that people have been asking about, begging for, and clamoring about for years. Then I think if Capcom would take the time to do that instead of focus on trying to be so heavy in the fighting game community, then I think they would actually bring a little bit more respect and prominence back to their name.
All right. And I'll save my end for last. TC, we're gonna come to you, my friend.
Well, man, if I'm speaking as a somebody in charge of Capcom right now, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm pretty happy because people are still buying my product no matter what I put out. You got Monster Hunter World sold over 6 million copies already. Resident Evil is still one of the top franchises in the business. I just re-released Street Fighter 5. People buying that up. That's part of the tournament. As from what they rumored and saying, Marvel's Capcom, they didn't put that much money into it to begin with, and you can tell by looking at the product itself that they didn't put the money into it. So, if I was going to go back and try to fix that particular franchise, I would pretty much say, you know what, we're going to take a step back, and we're going to go the route way we did with Street Fighter 5, and we're just going to say, we're just going to re-release a whole new game, which is kind of typical of Capcom, so wouldn't be new to the fans of it. And we would go back and fix everything. We fixed the animations on it, we fixed the characters on it, and just do away with the DLC stuff. Just put everything out on the game itself from the start and be done with it.
Look, I would, and I hope that sounds better, Al, on your end. I would I would go the Eric Bischoff route. I would throw the crate on the floor, put the belts in the box, and we're gonna start all the way over. There has to be an acknowledgement. Yeah, your point was very valid, TC, because they're at the end of the day, it's a money game. I mean, if Larry was here, that's what we were here. We were here,
Yeah,
you know, they making money, yeah. But now, you know, as a freelancer, there's a such thing as quality over quantity, and now it's gotten to a point now that the quality of the product has started to look pretty flimsy. And you've got an upstart company, some hungry guys, as we stated last show, that has decided that, you know, we'll come out with a product, and the people say they want a Dragon Ball Z game, we're gonna give it to them, and we're gonna basically just take what you all made y'all popular. We're gonna do it. I mean, we've already been doing it anyway because we've got Guilty Gear and, you know, Blaze Blue and
Persona 4.
And, you know, we got the mixed tag coming out. You know, they are right now. What you've got is a company that's beating Capcom at its own game. And one thing that Capcom could do is go back and they could look at the properties that you know, actually got them to the dance. Look at these, you know, Striders. Your boy from Ghouls and Ghosts. I mean, you could put characters from that in there. They've got characters from just about every game they make. Onimusha, you've got characters, you know, all over the place. Al, go ahead.
Well, I want to add to what TC said. I understand the fact that the company wants to make money. It goes without saying. But most wealthy individuals will tell you that they're in the game. If they're already rich, they want to make more money. That's pretty much the name of the game. Person becomes a billionaire, and in most cases, they don't stop when it's just $1 billion. They go for 2, they go for 3, they go for 4. Not necessarily meaning that they have to have 3, 4, $5 billion, but the fact of the matter is, those that are wealthy wants to make more money. And I use that example for Capcom. It's good that they sold 6 million copies of Monster Hunter. You know, as far as the sales for Street Fighter 5, you know, they still jerking people around with that game, you know, with this season 3 DLC, but they made more money off of the game. But if you're shortchanging yourself in a way that's taking money out of your pocket, to me, that kind of doesn't make sense. I mean, you look at the whole thing. Street Fighter is the granddaddy of all fighting games. Yet, when Street Fighter 5 has been out for 2 years, this has several updates. This arcade mode they just dropped last month. So you look at that, and then you look at Dragon Ball Fighter Z from Arc Systems, which sold 2 million copies or shipped 2 million copies within a matter of 3 weeks. So you have a fan base or a group of people that are rabid for that type of fighting game, which that game, and all of us have played it, harkens back to Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Does it have its problems? Of course, just about every fighting game that's released has its problems. That's why they drop patches. But at the same time, if you have people that are clamoring for this game, and those types of units are actually flying off the shelf, that should tell Capcom, hey, we are making money, but we can make more money. And as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I didn't read the article, but there was a release where I think the president of Capcom USA, it might have been Japan, had made a statement admitting the fact that Marvel's Capcom Infinite was not their best work. And Dead Rising was another game that they brought up, which happens to be one of my favorites. Those 2 games were brought up specifically, and it was mentioned in so many words that they were going to focus on providing a better experience for the customers in reference to those games. So if you're doing that for those games, then bring as many games as you can within reason into the fold. And if they bring those games out and they are great games like Monster Hunter, people are going to buy them. I don't have a problem. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna be done. I have no doubt that if they re-release an up-to-date version of Power Stone with Street Fighter V graphics, kept the same gameplay, the same mechanics, the whole nine, that game would sell, and it would sell. It may not outsell Street Fighter, but I'm guaranteed it'll sell at least 1 million plus copies. So Capcom really needs to get, back on the ball and be that company that they used to be some 15, 20 years ago, and not just rely on Street Fighter, Monster Hunter, and Resident Evil to pave their way into, more financial stability.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Capcom, and businesses go through this at times. They go through times where they flounder, they make bad decisions, and I honestly believe, this Marvel was just an absolute bad decision. It was basically a cash grab that went wrong. I mean, it was a cash grab that it backfired. This is one of those Hail Marys. Throw it down the field. If you catch it, it's the best play you ever seen. If it doesn't work, then somebody's gonna have to take the fall on the sword. And this is what has happened. Is someone at Capcom has had to fall on the sword. Hopefully they'll learn their lesson from this. Sales. I hope they take a good long hard look at the sales number for Marvel vs. Capcom. It's the worst of all the series, and hopefully somebody there learn from this mistake here. So let's move on to the elephant in the room. Tomorrow is the release of Coming to America 2. And in case you know I got that pun, I mean Black Panther is going to be out tomorrow, and Brother Coleman and I will be going to tomorrow night to go see it. And TC, I'm going to turn the floor over to you, my friend. This is it, man. This is what you've been waiting for. This is it's here. It's here. And now I've seen you sent me links, and I've seen links. I've stayed far away as I can from reviews or anything. I hadn't looked at anything. I won't look at anything. But when I see what people say about it, I hear gold standard.
And you're right. I mean, I've seen spoiler-free reviews because I still like I want to be surprised at what I see on the board. So I think the show is going to be just top notch. I honestly do. I mean, it's from what I've seen on there, it's Marvel is projecting at least between 150 160 million dollars for the opening weekend on there for it, which would be one of the biggest for a Marvel movie on there for it. And plus, I don't think you've seen other movies as far as other Marvel movies to have as much buzz and as much media and press as you have with Black Panther. I believe it's one of the top media where it's been negative or positive. As they say, there's no such thing as bad press as long as you got press. This is what this is with this movie. I mean, it's tied for like the highest rating for Rotten Tomatoes ever. It's sold out and the top selling pre-sold movie tickets ever on there for it. So we're just gonna wait and see. I mean, I'm excited and I'm ready to see it.
Yeah, I think this movie here, man, is it's funny because right now this is the gold standard. But I got a feeling in about 2 months there's gonna be another gold standard. When is it? Was it April?
May.
So that you got another movie that's could quite possibly be the gold standard. I had an interesting conversation with one of the employees over at Comics Plus today, and he asked me. He said, "Well, which do I like better, DC or Marvel?" And I said, "Well, it depends on what you're asking." I said, "If you asking me storyline wise, I would say DC right now has the better product." And he said, "Well, Marvel." He said, "Well, Marvel just kind of hits and misses." And I said, "Well, what is happening is that Marvel has decided to go with the cinematic route. Marvel is banking. I mean, they're just milking it They are taking that cow out to the pasture, and they've got 10 pan after 10 pan up under it, and they are milking that cow. And I think that with Marvel, and I'm here to tell you, man, and you know, if Larry was here, he'd love to hear this. Right now, Marvel is on top in the movie, in the cinema sphere, and there's nothing that I can say bad because they're pumping out top notch product and they're making money on this product. You've got, as to steal a phrase from Brother Coleman, asses are in the seat. People are going to see these movies. It doesn't matter. They had, you know, they are on a run of good, solid movies. And if they continue to do this, I'll be honest with you, man. Uh, Comic book wise, really, you know, it's just basically okay. Well, that's just bread and butter, but we'll keep focusing on making these billions. I mean, you talking about the money to be made on this movie, and we hadn't even got to the actual opening yet. I mean, then think about concessions. What people are gonna make from concessions off this, man? $15 for a popcorn, $35 for an icy. I mean, just it's and W is in this income tax month too. W-2s, I mean 1099, and I'm gonna be real with y'all. You know, black folk going, they getting them 1099s, man, and they are going to those W-2s, they are going to town because they're gonna need it to go to the movies to see this. You taking a family of 8 to go see Black Panther, man? Look at the money, cha-ching. That's going in the door. We haven't even got to when you get to the concession stand yet. I see you all over there. try to hold it in. But that's the money that's going to be made on this is absolutely astonishing. And you got to know that Marvel is, oh man, they are loving it. This goes back to what I told the guy today. I said, well, I don't understand why you got movie studios like Fox and all of them, you know, just billing around with the rights. You know, I'll tell you what, if I had on the shirt and tie at Fox, I say, Capcom, you want to make an X-Men movie? Here you go, man. Just give us 30% of what you make, 20% of what you make. Because you're going to make more. You're going to make the money back because they're going to make money off of it anyway because it's going to be done properly. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's more of a fact of a personnel thing there that, you know, we got these artists on staff, we got these 3D modelers, we got these riggers, we got these designers, and so they feel like they have to come out with product. But if they played their cards right, they could just basically sub-license this stuff to Marvel and say, hey man, how about you all make this? Y'all can do whatever you want. Doctor Doom, Fantastic Four, you know, do it the way y'all want to do it. Just make sure we get at least 15 to 20% off of it, because that's the same amount of money they would have to pay just to get it off the ground. Because you're looking at what's the numbers that's being floated around for Black Panther. Has anybody heard any the numbers floating around for it?
Opening weekend, they're saying 150 million.
I mean, come on, man. That's what it would cost to almost make the damn thing.
I think it's gonna do more than that.
Well, I'm looking
personally, I think it's gonna go upwards of like 200 million. Is what I'm thinking it's gonna do.
I said 3. I really did. I said 3 because you got
3 million.
Yeah, I really believe it's gonna be a 300. I believe we're honestly, and this is gonna be a strong statement, but I believe this movie is in Star Wars realm as far as the amount of money that's gonna be made opening weekend. So, you know, imagine if this was like a holiday weekend. Oh my goodness. Yep. So
$1 billion in 3 days.
Al, your thoughts on the Panther, my friend?
Well, TC, why you had to laugh?
I know what's coming.
Well, you know, it's actually not coming because I'm not gonna do that tonight. I'm still teetering on doing a video. And ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you to go watch the movie. Some people may have thought I was a naysayer regarding the movie, but Larry Crocker actually brought out a great point. And Larry, I know you say you were on your way home listening, so I'm about to give you some major props. We talked about this movie a few days ago in our Comic Hall group, and we were talking about a lot of the bad press that it's been getting, per se, specifically people on YouTube, you know, giving their 2 cents or a lack thereof of 2 cents in reference to the movie, and some people are putting such a spin on the movie that is ridiculous. All I'm gonna say, ladies and gentlemen, is that if you go watch the movie, watch it and enjoy the movie for what it is. It is a superhero movie that has a black protagonist that's been around for a long time. There's been a lot of hype about this movie, and as Larry indicated on the hall, he stated that basically Marvel marketed this movie perfectly, and I would have to agree every aspect. And I agree with you, Matt, as well, with your statement. Since the dawn of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I have never, ever, ever seen the amount of advertisement and marketing and all short of propaganda, but everything that Marvel and Disney has been able to do to promote this movie, aside from fly over various black communities in a private jet that said go watch Black Panther. That's the only thing they have not done yet, and it's worked for them. There's a lot of people are going to see this movie simply because, you know, it's a movie centered around a black superhero, and that's fine. That's good. Go and watch it, enjoy it with your family. Me personally, I'm going to see it. I'm going to enjoy it as what it is. It's a superhero movie. I think what it is, a lot of people, you know, they know. I'm pretty sure a lot of them that did know about Black Panther know about him now. And I think a lot of people, and particularly a lot of people that are behind this movie making these memes and stuff, they haven't seen anything like Black Panther centered around a black superhero. So I think that's where a lot of the hype is coming from. I predict this movie is going to do 250 million, $300 million in the weekend. I think it's going to actually, it's going to break the bank as far as the box office is concerned. It's going to make some money. I mean, if it's anything is indicative of the fact that the opening night in the majority of the theaters that the movie is going to be playing in has been sold out, you could bet your bottom dollar that it's going to be like that the whole entire weekend and probably into the earlier part of next week. If it was a holiday, you're probably looking at $400 million. I'm just being honest, because I think, man, people are like Matt said, people are watching this movie, or they're looking at this movie like it's Coming to America Part 2. You've seen the memes, you've seen the videos, folks going to the movies dressed like King and Simi and King Joffrey. You know what I'm saying? I mean, people have gotten this thing, and I think what it is, a lot of people want to identify with the character, you know, especially black people. I'm just being real. And that's driving this movie. Marvel has said, okay, all right, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna drop a couple of pictures on Instagram, and we're gonna have the continent of Africa, and in the middle of Africa, we're gonna have Black Panther's face, you know, a Boutafe. We're gonna do this thing like we have never done it before. And it's a good move for Marvel. I'm just hoping, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna get back to task. I'm just hoping with this, all the buzz that this movie is getting, that y'all don't forget about Luke Cage. Don't forget about Black Lightning. Don't forget about any other smaller character that's on the small screen, and allow those particular shows to cancel, because Netflix cancels shows. CW will cancel a show. I'm sure there's other shows, but those are only two I could think of at the moment. Also, and I'm gonna say this too, if you want to see more of that, more Black Panther, and I'm just being honest, Black Panther is probably going to be the only black superhero that you see on the big screen at this time, because truth be told, there aren't that many major characters. I mean, Black Manta is going to be an Aquaman, but I really don't have that much faith in Aquaman, you know, just be honest.
Yeah, Black cool, man, but you know, we all know how DC, you know, you have to pray with DC movies.
Right, you have to go to the upper room with that. So I mean, you know, even though they dropped a couple of deleted scenes from Justice League that would have done the movie justice, but that's neither here nor there, no pun intended. But I mean, get behind a lot of the smaller companies, the smaller superheroes. If you don't have a clue, do a Google search. There's an encyclopedia of black superheroes out there. We collect different types of comic books. This one series came out a few months ago called Black. It was a good series. It ran for 6 issues. Tuskegee Heirs, I have that book, and it's basically an independent Black owned comic book clearinghouse, a production company. But don't let the hype of Black Panther get it to where that's all you want to see, because like I said, Black Lightning and Luke Cage, they need your support as well. But I'm looking forward to seeing the movie. As with all the other Marvel movies, I'm gonna watch it, maybe twice. Of course, I'll get on Blu-ray. My biggest question, of course, is how they're going to introduce the Soul Stone, because I believe the Soul Stone is in Wakanda. And there are some predictions, but we'll leave that to after the show.
Soul Stone would have to be in Africa of all places.
Yeah, of course. Because with Black Panther now.
I'm being funny.
Okay, all right. I was about to go into a tangent.
No,
but anyway.
That's the rumor I've heard. That's how the vibranium got its properties and everything from the Soul Stone. So
guess what, bro, Coleman? We'll find out tomorrow.
You're gonna find out.
We'll find out tomorrow. And I'll be there early. I will be there at 6 o'clock tomorrow, so we can get a good seat. I'll be there early. All right, so let's move on, fellas. For those who are interested, Fox pushes back Alita and the Predator. And I know Antonio is excited about the Predator. And also, the Preacher season 3 has begun filming. And so, first thing on the docket is, I'll tell you again, go make sure you pick up Alita on eBay. If you can find it. I mean, you can actually find that in dollar bins if you look hard enough. But it's a relatively tough book to come by. And I'll be honest with you, man. I really don't give two rats asses about the Predator. I mean, I really don't understand why. Enough. I mean, come on, man. I mean, we've seen this before. And the sad part about this is that they're actually remaking the first Predator, which is an iconic classic.
Well, it's a continuation from the first one.
Why?
So you telling me, Antonio? You telling me that they're gonna pick up when the helicopter left? That's what I'm getting.
Well, it's supposed to be part of the same storyline on it. Basically, this is what it is, and it's directed by the guy that was actually in the first movie, the first guy that got killed, Billy with the glasses that the Predator killed. That's actually the director of this movie that's coming up. Now, this is also the same guy that directed Iron Man 3.
Oh, jeez. Boy.
So Fox went to him and told him that they wanted him to do a Predator movie. He said he would only do it if they actually put serious money into it.
I mean,
and basically not cheapen it out. So I've seen the cast of it, which that has me more worried than anything else. Just seeing the cast.
Who is playing Schwarzenegger on that? Again, I can't remember. Who was it?
Well, I mean, one of the main guys is the guy from Key and Peele. What's his name?
Oh,
the taller guy.
Oh man.
It's not the one that directed the movie. The other guy.
I know you're talking about.
The Jay Quillen.
Yeah.
He's actually going to be in the movie. So I don't know if it's going to be, he's going to have like a comedic role or if it's going to be a serious role. But I mean, really, it's just really a wait and see at this point for that movie. It's wait and see. Well, I don't have high hopes for it because the last few movies have been pretty bad. They've had their moments, but I don't have any hopes for it.
Al, you look pretty excited to see this. So I want to hear what you have to say. You look
I really have nothing to say. I forgot that they were redoing Predator, man. Let me just say this, man. Hall & Oates had a song.
Can't go for that, man.
That's one of them. That's another one. Those weren't the songs I was talking about. But y'all right on point. Somebody's out of touch and out of time. And somebody can't go for that. I can't go for that. No can do. But the song that I was actually thinking about was daggum. Y'all made me forget the song. Hold up. Some things are better left unsaid.
It's another one. Yeah.
And it's certain things in Hollywood that they shouldn't touch. Predator is one of them. The first two were good. Leave it alone. After they came out with all that other stuff, the Predator versus Alien, which was okay, but it started going into a descent of madness. All that Predators, all that, they need to leave it alone. Predator needs to stay where it is. They don't need to redo that movie. Same way that they did Terminator. That didn't need to be redone, although they're coming out with another one of those. Back to the Future is another movie. Ghostbusters should have been one of those movies as well. There's some things that are better left untouched.
Beverly Hills Cop.
Right.
Which one is it that Michael Bay is he attached to now? Which one is it?
Which one? What movie that TC you talking about?
He's supposed to be doing another movie. Michael Bay.
Lobo, from what is the rumors is he wants to be attached to Lobo.
We'll just go ahead and segue into that too while we at it, man. Let's go ahead and say we already that, so we'll just segue into that. So hold on. For those who are wondering, nobody cares about The Preacher season 3, so we'll just go ahead and skip past that.
I ain't watched season 1.
No, season 2 is garbage. I'm done with it. I'm not watching anymore.
But yeah.
Lobo, Michael Bay equals Bellevue, Pleasant Hill, Macon, Georgia. That's what that movie is going to be. Absolute nothing there. There's nothing to see. This is Vans Pawn Mart type stuff. This is absolutely. DC should be ashamed of themselves. But I know what they're doing. I'm gonna show y'all. This is gonna be. They're getting ready to fire it up. This is DC. We just want to attach a name to a product.
Yeah.
And we want people to, it's Michael Bay doing Lobo. No. Unless y'all are bringing this man in for special effects, he doesn't need to be any part of it. He needs to be just like how Ninja Turtles 2 was. When they said Michael Bay was involved, I said, TC, is he directing this before we go watch? He said, no, man, he's doing the just some behind the scenes work. He's really not. He's not putting his hand on it. I said, okay, well, I'll go watch it then, because I've seen what the hand of Michael Bay does. I've seen it firsthand. I've seen the Transformers. I watched it. I've seen it. There's Transformers. There's all other movies he's put his hands on. This movie, I'm telling you, and I'll say it again. Whatever Christopher Nolan needs, get Harley Race, you get the suitcase and you put it down on the table, you open it up, and you have the money and you have it wrapped, and you say, how much is it that you need so that we can bring you in to do our movies? Because every movie that you've done for us turns to gold.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. You wouldn't even need, for a Lobo movie, you wouldn't even need Christopher Nolan. You could get the same guy that directed, to me, Thor Ragnarok. If you got him to do a Lobo movie,
that's a good point.
I think he would do a good job on it.
I mean, what? I mean, I'm trying to, when they announced it, I was basically just like, I don't understand how Michael Bay is going to work with Lobo, because that's like, it doesn't even equal out. You know what I mean? It doesn't even add up. It doesn't make sense. You know, and I know somebody's watching it, and people are going to watch this down the line and say, well, you guys are just extremely too hard on this. No, it's just, when you look at it, it doesn't add up. That's like telling me you want Eddie Murphy to direct Ghostbusters 2. You want Sinbad to direct Pirates of the Caribbean. It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. So you know, on the surface, you say, okay, well, all right, well, if Johnny Depp is going to direct Pirates of the Caribbean, okay, yeah, that makes a little sense because he that's his baby, or Johnny Depp, Edward Scissorhands, but when you tell me Michael Bay is getting ready to do a Lobo movie, Michael Bay's going to do Batman. Michael Bay's going to do Superman. Michael Bay's going to do Wonder Woman. Now that doesn't add up. They should either have gotten TC, that guy you said, the guy that did Thor, Christopher Nolan, or old girl that's done Wonder Woman. These people are proven winners, man. When you sign an athlete on your team and you're trying to win something, you don't just go get the dude that look cool on tape. You get the dude that can produce. And Michael Bay is the guy that looks cool on tape. His explosions look great, man. If I was hiring him for pyro, if I need a pyro specialist for unit number 5 in the movie, and the credits, you look at the credits and you see pyro specialist number 5, number 7, that's where Michael Bay belongs. He does not belong at the top because he hadn't done anything in the last 10 years to show me that he belongs at the top. The last thing he's done good was Bad Boys. And I was in high school when that came out. So that's all. What did you say, TC?
They doing another Bad Boy.
I mean, it's like Rush Hour. I mean, do another Rush Hour too while you at it. I mean, just put it in Egypt. Just put it in and run wild with it. At some point, somebody in the office has to pull whoever's making the decision to the side and say, this doesn't make any sense. I know that we want to attach a name to it, but there are a lot of other guys out there that could do this. I'm looking at Black Panther tomorrow, and they got a brother who, if I'm not mistaken, maybe somebody can in the comment section or either on this panel can tell me, I hadn't seen anything else this guy's done. This is a virtual unknown.
Brian Coogler?
Yeah.
He did the Rocky movie with Michael B. Jordan.
See, classic. Perfect example of excellent director. He's a proven winner. Creed.
And he did Fruitvale Station.
Winner.
That's his 2 movies.
He's a proven winner. Michael Bay is flopped. He is Ghostbuster himself. He is Ghostbuster 3 himself. He's the laughing stock. When you think about the laughing stock of Hollywood, man, he's it's just like I heard somebody say yesterday about what's your boy that's on with Jamel Hill on ESPN, TC, Michael, he's the laughing stock of ESPN. It's just Michael Bay is the laughing stock of the action universe. Well, Michael Bay's going to direct Die Hard. He's going to remake Die Hard. No, we don't want to see that. No, Michael Bay needs to take his Transformers, and he just needs to take that and do whatever he wants to do with it. He needs to move away and go away. Don't tear up stuff. He's damned Lobo before it even gets started. That's the bad part about it. You doomed the movie before it even got started. I'm done. Al, it's yours. Lobo, it's all yours.
Well, first and foremost, and I'm gonna make this brief, I would get the pyrotechnicians from Raw before I get Michael Bay to pee.
From Monday Night Raw, man?
From Monday Night Raw. Matter of fact, I found a joker that did the pyro for Thunder. WCW Thunder. They ain't done it in years.
Shotgun Saturday Night, man?
Yeah, basically. WCW Saturday Night when they allowed them to have pyro on the show. Michael Bay needs to DC, if they want to be taken seriously, and I hope all of this is just vicious rumors, you're taking a step back if you're going for Michael Bay for a movie. The Transformers property or franchise has been on a steady decline since the first movie. This last movie, they ripped that movie to shreds. Of course, it's sold because you got kids. That movie, what sells that movie is merchandise, toys, that type of thing. That's what sells the Transformers. That's why they keep bringing those movies out. Michael Bay's name attached to those Transformers movies, even though it means the touch of death for most people, they still make money for some inexplicable reason. I don't know why. But everyone knows those movies are garbage. Michael Bay adding his name to Lobo is only going to devalue that movie, like you said, Matt, before it even comes out. DC's goal right now is to make sure that whatever movies they have slated for the next 2 to 3 years, and even longer than that, is going to be profitable for them. They should have learned from the debacle, which was Justice League. Even though I still like the movie, it still had problems. But if you want to be able to even remotely compete with Marvel, which at this time is right now, it's just a shot in the dog. You know, it's like trying to find a black eyed pea in the Pacific Ocean. It's not gonna happen. So you want to put yourself in a position, like TC said, Kiki or whatever his name is, the guy that directed Guardians of the Galaxy or Thor. He probably would be a perfect choice for that based on how Thor was set up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that was a space adventure. He's brought himself. James Gunn would be another choice based on his work on Guardians of the Galaxy. So DC's gonna have to learn how to pick and choose their battles, man, because when you start attaching folks like that, I mean, shoot, man, who gonna play the role of Lobo? I mean, come on, man. I mean, the Miz.
They could have got director of Hellboy, or the first Hellboy.
Guillermo del Toro. Yeah, they could have got him.
Yeah, they could have got Del Toro. Del Toro would have been perfect for something like this. You know, these kind of movies. I mean, look what he did with Pacific Rim.
Kiss of Death, man.
I mean, it's absolutely. I mean, Michael Bay, man, it's just not cutting it. Antonio, your thoughts? Lobo, that's another one of your buddies, man. Lobo, that's one of your characters, Tony.
I just don't.
I had to let you down.
I can't see it happening, man. I'm gonna just honestly say, there's nothing. If you sit here and tell me that Michael Bay, Lobo need to go see this, no. I mean, I'll wait for that to be a TBS special before I go to the theater and put money on that.
Clash of the Champions.
TBS special right after House of Pain.
Yeah, exactly. I'll wait on that. I'm not putting money on that.
You know, and this is the thing for those who are watching, who are not DC inclined. Lobo is a major character. Lobo is not some running the mill comic character. You know, this is
he's a difficult character to do. He's not an easy character to do on that.
Lobo is the equivalent to Wolverine when it comes down to comic book aficionados or collectors. Most times when you speak of Lobo, he has the same type of demeanor that Wolverine did back in the 80s and the 90s. And Wolverine was a complex character. And of course, they didn't get Wolverine right until the last movie. So somebody's going to have to come through and make sure that they're going to make sure that pretty much that movie is on point. Because if you come, Lobo is one of those characters basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, TC, he's not really a well-known character.
No.
So if you want to put somebody in place to actually make that movie happen, I would shoot for a big time name, somebody that has some type of pedigree behind their name, someone who's had the experience and say, okay, I'll go watch that movie because this particular person is tagged with it. But Michael Bay and Lobo, you basically, that movie, and I'm going to quote you, Matt, that movie after its release, it probably will stay in the movies for like 2 weeks. It'll be released on DVD 2 weeks after it was released, and it will be in the dollar bin. That's where you'll find that movie.
They have a release at Godfather's Pizza.
Shakey's.
I don't understand Michael Bay being attached to this movie, and that bothers me really bad. I don't understand it, and it's just one of those things, man, where it's just a complete mystery. And I'll be the first one to tell you, man. You know, I stuck with him through Justice League. You know, that was a good movie. You know, I put up with him with Suicide Squad, which could have been a better movie. Well, you tell me that you first you're making a movie based off of Lobo, which is already hard. That's like TC said. That's already hard enough to make a Lobo movie as opposed to introducing him, you know, in a DC movie. You know, this is once again, and this is a pattern that we talked about previously, is that you're doing origin movies on folks that you don't need to be doing origin movies on.
And see, that's what I just told. That's what I just mentioned just then.
Yeah, I broke. So I missed you. So something happened on my end. So I
no, you good. But I just mentioned to the folks that Lobo is not a well-known character. So if you gonna do a Lobo movie and you gonna get somebody to direct it, Michael Bay is not the person. I'm sorry, because I mean you can't. It's only so much you could explode in space.
I mean, you're right.
I mean, he's telling the truth. I mean, other if you're gonna be exploding stuff at some point, you're crossing the realm of Star Wars,
right?
I mean, I'm just being honest,
right?
So I mean, at some point it needs to be addressed, but we'll see, we'll see how this pans out. As of right now, on the comic book hall roundtable discussion, this is -5. They have to get me to 0 before me even get interested.
I mean, I honestly think DC is gonna take baby steps at this point until they see.
Right now, they're falling, Tony. I mean, you talk baby steps, man. I mean, this is off the training wheel. They are falling off the bike, and
well,
it's time to get the knees
how Black Adam does. That's really, I think.
I mean, I heard Al.
They still consider Justice League. I mean, they still consider Justice League a failure in their eyes. They consider Justice League a failure in their eyes. So your next big movie at this point right now is supposed to be what, Flash or Black Adam, one of the two, whichever one comes first on there for it. Which I don't even understand how they're gonna do Flash with the storyline they're talking about doing the whole Flashpoint.
Flashpoint, yep.
I don't understand that with the way they showed this Barry Allen in Justice League, but that's a whole nother discussion that not getting to tonight. But yeah, I mean, I think they're just gonna they're gonna see how these movies are doing, and I guess they're gonna try, and hopefully the Wonder Woman movie will do as good as the first one did. We're gonna see. Maybe they're gonna introduce a villain that's known to go up against her in the movie.
The word I can give you a little tidbit of what I heard this week is that I heard that Cersei is supposed to be the villain in the new Wonder Woman.
Okay,
I can see that,
which makes sense because you got to get Cersei before you get to Cheetah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can understand that.
And you could bring in with Cersei. You could actually bring in Etrigan if they decide to go that route, but I doubt very seriously they're gonna do that.
They're not gonna do that.
So, but they have a pretty good villain for Wonder Woman. So, once again, DC, I mean, you got a win on your hands. All you gotta do is just follow the same. The game plan has been laid out. So, up to them. All right. So, speaking of, we're gonna stay on the Fox train. Fox announced yesterday that they are going to be doing 2 extra series of Sons of Anarchy. They're going to be doing a spinoff to the events after the season finale, focusing on the family and how they adjust, what have you. And also, they're going to be doing a prequel that deals with Jax's dad coming home from Vietnam. TC.
Yeah.
So now. Al, no, I've never asked you. Al, you a Sons of Anarchy fan? Are you?
I wouldn't say I'm a fan. I enjoyed the show, but I mean, I watched it. Yeah, I mean, I like it.
Okay. Well, I just asked, but for those, well, you've also got this year. You've got the Mayans supposed to be coming. So looks like Fox has wanted to revisit. Tony, I'm just speculating. Now, this is just me speculating. Looks like Fox is trying to find some room here because when I look at their show lineup, I don't see anything that's strong there. Strain is gone.
Yeah,
American Horror Story is not showing up, and I mean, I'm just gonna be honest with you, man. It's only so much you can do with American Horror Story. At some point, you're gonna have to, if you're doing that every year, it gets tiring. So maybe like every other year, you probably could do a American Horror Story, or whatever. And last season was pretty good from my understanding. I think you watched last season.
Yeah.
I know last season I watched was full season I watched was the Circus, which was really good.
You got the Gifted, man. You got that.
Yeah, you got the Gifted. Yeah, that's true. Gifted has done really well for him. But as far as other shows, man, Fox right now, Fox used to carry like several, 8, 9, 10 different really good shows at one point. But you watching everything. But right now it's grown a little stale in the cupboard, and so looks like they're gonna pull out the old Sons of Anarchy card here and get that fired back up because this just be real. Fox Sons of Anarchy did extremely well in the ratings for Fox over the last what was it 15 years or so. 15, 20 years. So, Tony, you're a huge fan of Sons of Anarchy. So, what's your thoughts on them saying that they're going to go back and they're going to give you a prequel and they're going to give you post events of the season finale? Of course, we all know what happened with that of Sons of Anarchy.
Well, man, I think it's going to be a good thing for fans of the show of Sons of Anarchy on their phone. I know the director, he struggled for a while with his other show that he had, the Bastard Execution. He struggled with that one. And finally, he just told him, he just take it off the air. Because he said, if nobody's going to watch it, I'm not going to make it. So that was a good thing that he realized himself that, I'm not going to just push the show on people and make you accept it. I know people not watching it. We're just going to cut it off. So he's going back to his roots. He's going back to what he knows as far as with these type of shows, as far as the biker gang type of shows, with dealing with their problems and their families and stuff like that. So I am so excited to see. I'm excited to more see after the point where the end of the last season of Sons of Anarchy than I am more about the prequel to it, because we pretty much know what happened on there with Jax's dad and everybody else on there for it. But I'm more interested to see what the sons are going to do further on after.
Al, how excited are you for the 2 new announced shows of Sons of Anarchy?
Well, really, my expectation sums it up like this. As long as they keep the same writers that they had for Sons of Anarchy, directors, I'm good.
Okay, all right. I think that the show will. I think it's gonna be a success either way. It's something that people can. They have a huge following. Very huge following for Sons of Anarchy. We've even got comic books that are based on Sons of Anarchy that are out there floating around that you can go pick up. So I think that this show is going to be a hit. Personally, I think it'll be a hit. Didn't see anything wrong with Sons of Anarchy. That was a well-written show. That's just going to take an adjustment of not looking at some of the old characters that was on there. But it is what it is. You just hope that they don't go the way of what we get ready to talk about in just a second. But you know what's coming, and hopefully they'll continue to keep the product good. So, all right, with that, let's go ahead and move on to what I was talking about there. What I alluded to, for those who watch the show, typically knows what's coming when I do that number. The Walking Dead is on the way back, and last night, me and Antonio had a very, very interesting discussion last night. I asked this question because Antonio went back. He watched the final few episodes of Fear the Walking Dead last night. I watched the last episode last night myself to get caught back up. After he told me what went down, I was like, okay, well, I'll get back in and I'll watch it. And Al, I was told last night that Morgan is going to be crossing over to Fear the Walking Dead. Okay, but here's the conundrum. Because there's something to it. This is from what I was told. Now, I was told by Antonio Coleman last night who he got it, that was told that Fear the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead are going to be going on at the same time. But I remember when the show was introduced, Fear the Walking Dead, about 3 years ago, is that Fear the Walking Dead was understood to be a prequel to The Walking Dead. But that's the whole. Wait. I know you want to say something. Wait. But that's not the big deal. Here's the big deal: is that I want you to explain to me how Morgan is going to make it from Georgia or Virginia, wherever he is, all the way to Los Angeles, California. There is not a Greyhound running during a zombie apocalypse. There's not a Southwest Airlines running during a zombie apocalypse. No, this is not Grand Theft Auto. You cannot go get a working helicopter out of the gate and take off. So someone has to explain to me how Morgan is going to go from The Walking Dead to Fear the Walking Dead. And I'm supposed to be okay with that.
Well, from what I understand, this is how I see it. The Walking Dead. Okay, so when they first started Fear the Walking Dead is supposed to have at least a few weeks or more of advancement over The Walking Dead. Because apparently, with the storyline, with the way everything is set up, Fear the Walking Dead was supposed to start over on the West Coast, but then we kind of don't know. But that's what they give the impression is that particular show was started before The Walking Dead. Okay, because that's when the outbreak came and all that kind of stuff. And at that point in time, somewhere between the first week of The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, that's when The Walking Dead was supposed to happen. Now, I could be totally wrong, but that's the impression that I gave when they first aired Fear the Walking Dead, right? Okay, so the only explanation that I can think of is the reason how Morgan will be with them. It's got to be a situation where the Fear the Walking Dead has to predate The Walking Dead by weeks, if not months, for this to work. I can't see any other way that this is going to happen unless they come up with some kind of fantastic lie that it was a train running between Georgia and the West Coast and a whole bunch of people. No, we ain't gonna go that far. Well, Amtrak or something was running between Georgia and the West Coast, and he got out there with Dwayne over a matter of days, and then he hooked up with them, or somehow or another, somewhere between the time that he left Georgia and that's the confusing thing, because during that whole period of time, he went and practiced with Stick out in the woods because he went crazy after he had to kill his wife and after Dwayne died. It's either Stick or Master Splinter, one of the two. That's when he learned his Zen and stuff. So they're gonna have to do some. Of course, they cannot actually have Dwayne on Fear the Walking Dead and not provide some type of viable explanation, because people are gonna be like, man, this is balderdash, man. I'm not gonna believe this. All this stuff going on, transit systems are shot, highways and byways are shot, because we've seen that when it comes down to major cities, especially when the outbreak happened, everything went to hell in a handbasket. Ain't nobody driving no buses, no Greyhounds or Uber or Lyft in that particular time frame. But I was always under the impression that the show Fear the Walking Dead preceded Walking Dead by a specific period of time. And then from there, that's when the Walking Dead started with Rick and all of that. So that's the only way I can see Morgan proactively interacting with the crew of Fear the Walking Dead. If that's not how it is, I can't answer that, man. I don't know.
This is the problem I have with The Walking Dead. Is the shooting shots in the dark, man. It's clear you've run out of ideas. You've gone to Hail Mary formation, and you're just trying to find whatever you can get down the field, man. It doesn't make any sense to me. No sense whatsoever. Tony, I'm gonna let you make a cloud of this, man, because you.
I mean, I'm reading it right now. I'm reading it right now, and they talked to Kirkman, and they asked him, "How is this going to happen?" They're asking the same question y'all are asking, and the next season of Fear the Walking Dead is supposed to take place after the events of season 8 of the regular Walking Dead show. They're not going to go back and do any kind of backstory to say that he came from the West Coast and wound up with the group he's in with Rick and them. It's supposed to be that the Fear the Walking Dead is supposed to take such a huge time jump as far as time-wise in the show that it's supposed to basically catch up and meet where the Walking Dead is now.
So you're telling me, and I'll get you in just a second. You're telling me that Morgan's just going to show up. That's what I heard. I just heard Morgan's just going to show up. He's just going to, flash Barry Allen, just going Morgan,
The timeline is struck Walking Dead.
I mean, what? I mean, but it's Flashpoint Walking Dead. This is what it is.
Barry Allen, that daggone Barry Allen boy. Whoa.
This is time jump. I mean, straight Flashpoint.
Yeah. Which I mean, they've done that before in regular Walking Dead. I mean, they did.
But TC, we're talking about a show.
You're talking like almost like a couple of years different.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, this is. I mean, the guy. Yeah, they've been in Mexico and they've been fumbling around down along the border, but as we saw last night, they're back in LA. So, how?
Well, the way the storyline ended on the Fear the Walking Dead is everything pointed towards them going to Houston, Texas, because Houston has its own power grid for the state itself, and they figured that they can actually go there and get the power grid and be able to actually have power in Houston, and that's where everything is supposed to lead to next, because that's what the main bad guy that they introduced in the show, that's where he was going, and that's where they figure everybody else is going to meet up too. So he's not necessarily going to be going to Mexico or California. He's supposed to be going basically from Virginia to Texas.
So wait a minute. So he's supposed to go from Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Kentucky, Georgia, Alabama, and he winds up in Houston, Texas.
You forgot Louisiana.
Yeah.
The Bayou. Yep. Zombie infested alligators. He's supposed to get past all that. And he's going to end up.
Well, you can already see that they're trying to do that now, because with the tension between Morgan and the rest of the crew now, because basically at this point, Morgan is just wanting to kill everybody. He's like, you know what? I've given up on trying to be the nice guy. And he's just like, we just need to kill him and be done with it. And I think that's going to come with conflict with the rest of the group, and what's going to cause him to basically split off from them and leave.
Okay. All right. Al?
Well, you answered my question, because I'm still trying to figure out. To me, it would have made more sense to have him with the group, keep the show, keep the Fear the Walking Dead ahead of the Walking Dead, and have him to where when he showed up at Alexandria, when Rick killed that dude, what was his name? The guy that was it wasn't Douglas.
They killed the leader's husband. The one
right.
Killed the leader's husband.
Yeah. Right. The guy that was beating his wife. That dude. Yeah. It would have made sense to actually have it where during that, because they didn't know where he was. So during that time frame, they could have explained that, well, he was with them and he made it was his way back from Texas and just so happened to meet up with them. But for them to say that he's going to leave and then go through them 5-6 states that you mentioned on foot, perhaps, maybe a car, and ward off all these hordes and all these factions of evil people with that bow stick. I know I'm supposed to suspend my disbelief, but this man ain't got instant transmission. I'm sorry. I just don't see that happening. And if that is the case, then maybe Rick them need to reevaluate who should be the leader, because this dude, if he can survive in this particular environment by himself, he's truly an OG. I like Morgan, don't get me wrong, man, but I really have to see how this is going to play out, man, for me to really say, okay, I can see how they're going to do this, because unless season 8 is supposed to start, what, in 2 weeks?
Not this Sunday, but next Sunday. Yeah.
Okay. So unless they actually stoke the seeds and start working that angle to, when is the Fear the Walking Dead start?
That's gonna be in the fall. Yeah. Well,
okay.
It comes on like July, August.
Yeah, like in the middle of the summer.
Okay, so I can see them now. In that case, I can see them doing that. And by maybe the 3rd or 4th episode, he dips, and then he hooks up with them. But then that leads to whether or not he's actually, because of course, in the comic book, he's been long gone. So is he going to linger around, or are they going to kill him off on Fear the Walking Dead, or is he going to come back to the Walking Dead and meet his demise? I mean, I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah.
I ain't losing no sleep over it.
Damn sure I ain't losing no sleep over it. Let's move on. Captain America is approaching issue number 700. Has anyone read the last couple of issues of Captain America?
Nah, we need Larry for that. He reads Captain America.
Yeah, I hadn't read it.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Captain America is going to be put back on ice.
Like Reunity.
Yep. And apparently he's supposed to wake up, and it's supposed to be a major change, and a major character shows up. Issue 700. I have no clue who it could be. I'm going to let you all throw a couple of names out there and see who you all would think it would be. If I had to guess, thinking maybe Red Skull.
I mean, that's the obvious one, but
I mean, that's all I can say is maybe.
Yeah.
And apparently this supposed to have the same political tone, which once again kind of points to that shift. They say it's supposed to have a strong political tone as the way that the Secret Empire had, but of course this time it's supposed to be worse. They say it's supposed to be worse. So I mean, all signs on the, on my scale would have to point towards Red Skull being the villain. That's the only person I can think of. Plus, it's issue number 700, which is really a milestone for Captain America, which should have been done. Larry, I'm just gonna throw it out there. This could have been done 15 years ago had they not botched it up. So, thoughts on that, Al? Any thoughts on?
Now, I mean, with me reading Secret Empire, I can see the Red Skull coming back. For those that did not read Secret Empire, they had a one-shot after the series was over with called Secret Empire Omega. And in that, of course, at the end of Secret Empire, Captain America beat the Cosmic Cube created Captain America. And they locked him up into prison, kind of like the Raft or was it Iron Heights in DC, for superpowered criminals and stuff. And Captain America had a conversation with that particular version of Captain America. And, it was basically one of those conversations where they were talking about who's right, who's wrong. Hydra Cap was basically saying I was doing everything that, you wanted to do, and everything that I did wasn't illegal. You know, y'all gave me the keys to the kingdom, and I did it. So I can see Red Skull coming back and breaking what's his face out of that prison, and in some kind of ways, if not trying to recreate what they did with taking over the United States, slowly trying to do it. I mean, that's just a shot in the dark. But for them to put Captain America on ice for however long, they've got to have something that's going to replace him. I mean, Sam Wilson said he didn't want to do it no more after Secret Empire. Bucky Barnes, I don't think they'll bring him back to do it. Wonder Soldier, I mean, unless they bring back U.S. Agent, I don't see. No, I mean, I don't see. I mean, Red Skull probably would be the viable choice.
Quasar.
And you know, Quasar is a female now, so
yeah, you know, Solo. Just had to throw stuff out there.
I don't know about that. They canceled that Joker's book after issue at 4 or 5 or something.
Falcon.
No, because like I said, in Secret Empire, he didn't want to do it no more.
Yeah, right, Falcon.
Yeah, he didn't want to be bothered with it no more. He just wanted to go back to being Sam Wilson. So,
TC.
I mean, like you said, to me, it's gonna be Red Skull more than likely. That's what my bet is gonna be on there for it. So,
all right. For those who watch the Super Bowl, Star Wars has announced the Han Solo movie. Early thoughts on this here, fellas. I'm interested to hear this. TC, we'll start with you on this.
I mean, you know what, man? Really, this is one of those movies that's kind of a, you know, I need to see more before I even decide if I want to see it, because that was one of those movies that I know they switched directors on, and they were having a lot of trouble with the script on it. As far as the casting, to me, it's a really good cast from what I've seen on there for it. I like who they've cast for the parts that they've cast on there, but I got to see that script first, man. I got to see some more footage of it to see how far they're gonna go in this movie.
Al,
I agree with TC. Cast seems to be solid. You know, story is important. You have a wonderful cast, man, jam up cast, but if story ain't worth 2 chewed up moon pies, then you know it's not worth the trouble. Hopefully, and I'm hoping that Disney has bottled the magic that was Rogue One, and you know, can relay that particular type of intensity regarding that movie into any of these side movies that are supposed to be canon that goes along with the Star Wars mythos in relation to the current trilogies that are out there, or whatever it is now, since it's like 9 movies or something.
Yeah,
11 movies.
I mean, give me a Boba Fett shot, and you might have me sold on.
Right. Yeah. Cloud City, you might have me like, okay, they revisiting Cloud City.
Yeah.
You know, I have no qualms with the actors, especially Donald Glover, man. I think Donald Glover has, based on like reports and interviews that I've read, he's pretty much immersed himself in the character because he realizes how gravitous his character is. I mean, you are reprising the role of Lando Calrissian, you know, and even though I was looking for him in the last Star Wars movie, he's gonna have to embody that, you know, because Lando Calrissian is an integral part of the Star Wars mythos. So I think, like I said, man, I think that the cast is gonna do well. I'm with TC, man. I'm looking for some more trailers. I'm looking for some more information on the plot, how things are gonna work, all of that before I say, okay, I'm gonna jump in this, you know, head first. So,
well, all I can say is that we have to wait and see, man. We will have to wait and see. So we'll be looking to see what what comes of that. I'm hoping to go to Rogue One. Away myself, that was an absolute great movie. Rogue One was a really good movie. So we'll have to see how that pans out. Last thing here on the docket before we get y'all top 10. I just saw an article. John Carpenter has come out and said he wants to get back in the to making horror movies. I mean, I think that genre has come and gone. I think that I mean, horror movies. That I think that is done and dusted, man. I mean, you got Saw 35, you got Paranormal 68. I mean, you got I think it's just done and dusted, man. I really don't think that nostalgia that we all had growing up in the 80s and of course you had in the 70s and the 60s and the 50s.
I mean, maybe if he wanted to do something for like Netflix, but as far as making money in the theater, I don't see that happening.
I mean, I use nothing he could come out with right now that would even compel me to go to a movie to go see. I hadn't went to the movie to see a horror movie. I mean, what, The Fall was like maybe
the last one I went to see was the first Scream movie. So
yeah, so I mean, you talking back in high school. I didn't do the horror movie.
Yeah.
The horror movies, I was in high school, man.
Yeah, that was the last horror movie I went to the theater and saw.
And I hadn't seen a good horror movie do anything in the theater in God knows how long. I mean, well, you know what? I take that back. I guess you want to say what was that movie that came out last year about the black boy dating the white girl?
Oh, Get Out.
Get Out. I saw Get Out.
That was
I didn't too much count that as horror. That wasn't really
right. That's more of a psychological thriller than anything. So, yeah.
All right, fellas, it is now time for our top 10. Our top 10 for this week is games you would like to see brought back or remade. Who would like to go first tonight, fellas?
Go ahead and name mine off right quick. These are games that I just personally liked and played back in the day forever. In no particular order. The old Alien vs. Predator arcade game, which Capcom did.
A lot of people never played that, man.
No.
I missed out.
And because that was basically like a side-scrolling fighter / shooter type game on there for it. Project Justice, which we talked about earlier. I'd like to also see a SNK versus Capcom to come back in.
Yeah.
Darkstalkers, Tournament Fighters, Ninja Turtles.
Oh my God!
With the graphics they have now and
Rat
what
Ball.
I've seen from Injustice, I mean, they could do a whole game just based on that Ninja Turtle universe on that for it. An old arcade game, man, that I liked playing when I was younger was Guerrilla War. I don't know if many people remember it, but it was basically like a shooter, like a scrolling up shooter type game.
Yeah.
Final Fight is another one with the graphics they have now. Contra. I'd like to see a remake of that. And basically in HD, if they can do that on there for it. And then my last two on there is something I posted earlier in the pop culture group is Tenchu. And I'd like to see a good Ninja Gaiden, man, for this generation console. That's my last one. That's what I want on there, man.
Well, TCU hit right home, man. My honorable mentions, I'll go, Al. My honorable mentions on my list are Rygar.
Oh, that's all mine.
Rygar and Ninja Gaiden. Those are my two games on my honorable mentions. Number 10. Coming in number 10 is Legacy of Kain. All right, number 9 Saturday Night Slam Masters.
Oh, that's on mine too.
A lot of people forgot about Saturday Night Slam. And those are characters, go back to what we talked about earlier. Those, you got a list of characters in that game that you could throw over into Marvel vs. Capcom. You know, like I said, Capcom got enough to work with. There's no excuse. Number 8 is a tie. I have Twisted Metal and Road Rash.
Damn, I forgot about Twisted Metal.
Yep. Number 7, and this is the Dynasty Warriors Fighting Edition. A lot of people don't remember Dynasty Warriors was a fighting game
On the PlayStation.
The first one. Yeah, the very first one.
Very first one. A lot of people don't realize that. I think with graphics now and the way they could, build that could be an excellent fighting game. Number 6 will be Tobal.
Oh no, I remember that one too.
You forgot about that, man.
Yeah, because the characters that was a Square Enix game, and they got Toriyama to do the art, the character designs for that game.
Yep, that game came out, man, and I think they gave it relatively good reviews, but the only thing was missing there, I was like, we just need a fireball. It was it.
Tobal number 1.
Yep. Number 5 is Onimusha.
Oh.
It's been well over 15 years,
man.
Maybe even 18 since Onimusha game. And it boggles my mind that Capcom, they put out 50 Devil May Cries, but you only got like 1 Onimusha. What, 2? 1?
Well, actually, you got 4, but see, the last Onimusha that came out was on the Xbox, because I have all of them.
Yeah. So I mean, you got a great. I mean, that's a great franchise that just got swept up under the rug. Number 4 is for all my first person shooters. We need another SOCOM. I mean, SOCOM, man. Bro, SOCOM is what started all this. All this Call of Duty and all that. That's what inspired all that. That was a game that was ahead of its time. Headsets and teams and stuff like that. SOCOM was a solid game. Number 3 on my list is, of course, what TC mentioned here is a Tenchu. We brought it up the other night. We were talking about that game and how revolutionary it was for its time. A stealth ninja game. I mean, that just that's a game that could sell like hotcakes easily. Number 2 on my list is it doesn't necessarily have to be this, but I would say GoldenEye or some form of that game developed by Rare. Because you want to talk about gold standard of first-person shooters, that is the quintessential gold standard for first-person shooters. And I know these youngsters like to watch us every once in a while, but if you've never played GoldenEye, you've got to play it. It's just basically a solid survival. Run and shoot. And Lord forgive whoever gets the golden gun. Number 1, and I hadn't heard this tonight, man, but number 1 on my list, man, is it's time for a new Castlevania. It's time for a new Castlevania. I hadn't seen a solid Castlevania game since what is Draculax? Not Dracula. What's the
Symphony of the Night was pretty good.
Symphony of the Night. That's it. Yeah, that's the last one. Symphony of the Night, which was the last, and that's been we talking about PS2 for that. I think PS2, PS3.
They released it on the Xbox for download. I got it, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I mean it's time for one of those, and I would like to see it. I would like to see it in third person view. I think that'd be pretty cool.
They're actually doing. They're doing one, right?
Oh, word?
Well, it's not. It's by the same guy who made. Did he go?
I think he's still there. It's made by the same. I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
But no, it's the same guy that made the first Symphony of the Night. Because I actually backed him on making the game. I actually donated and backed the game. It's supposed to be coming out at some point next year on there for it. But he's actually making a Castlevania style game on there. And he's the original one that did the first Symphony of the Night. So he wanted to do another one. but Konami said they only want to deal with mobile games. So he went and got the funding for it, and he's got the Kickstarter and everything to get ready for it.
And you know what? I'll throw another honorable mention. No, you said Kickstarter. It just came to my head. Shinmu. Shinmu is another one that needs to be.
Yep.
Oh man, but you know they were supposed to be working on another one of them. That's another title that was being kickstarted though.
You know, while you do your top 10, I'm gonna look up on that. I want to see whatever became of it, because from my understanding there was a Kickstarter out there, but I don't know if it ever panned out or anything.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna go through my honorable mentions first. Okay, so I got like 5 or 6 honorable mentions. So Heavenly Sword, that was a PS3 title. Saturday Night Slam Masters, Run and Gun. I don't know if y'all remember that big basketball simulation that they had down at, it was at Atlantis Castle then at Timeout. Time Crisis. I wish they could figure out some kind of way to make light guns compatible with current technology, because I think it's still a market for shooters. And Dynamite Cop, that was on I think that was an arcade game, but they ported it to the Sega Dreamcast. My number 10 is Plasma Sword. Number 9, Jack and Daxter. Number 8, Rygar. Number 7 was a heavily slept on game, and that was Heavy Rain for the PS3. That was a really good game. Number 6 is Darkstalkers. And number 5 and 4, I didn't hear y'all say this one. I'm kind of surprised, but number 5 is Siphon Filter. Number 4 is Parasite Eve, which I, for the life of me, can't figure out why that game has not been remade. Number 4 is number 3 is Power Stone. Number 2 is Project Justice. And number 1 is Onimusha. And that game, like I said, I have every version of that game that spans from the PlayStation 2 to the Xbox. And Capcom is dropping the ball.
All right, fellas. Well, with that, we're going to go ahead and move right into our hauls for the week. We'll go ahead and fire things up here. And we have the Gabriel Del Otto. I forgot what is it, X-Men Red, man. I can't even remember which one this is.
Yeah, X-Men Red number 1.
X-Men Red number 1. Well, it's 2. Yeah, we got 2 of them. So X-Men. This is the first one of the batch we got. We'll save the other one for when that one comes. Stop by the store. Support Brother Will. Got the $7.95 Hulk Smash variant, which is starting to go up in price there. Also picked up today this gorgeous copy of Action Comics. This is one I was telling you about, Al. That I said, yeah, I'll pick that up just based off of the cover. I thought it was a pretty cool cover. And came up on a little goody. Amazing Spider-Man Quesada variant, 600. This one is one that's a 1 of 15, so it's definitely a little bit of a come up there. And I came up on something. I was just going through boxes, just seeing what, looking around, and something I saw this book and I said, wait a minute, this is something's different about this. I mean, I already had the book, but one I saw it. One, it was in good condition. It was in mint. Both are actually in absolutely mint condition. And so I said, you know what? I'll pick these up. And I picked up X-Force number 1. Yeah, X-Force number 1. Now, this is supposedly the regular copy. Now, I'm going to kind of come in a little close here. But as you can see, let's look here, and we'll see the color here. We look at Beast. Notice that, correct? So there was one behind it, and this one is a little bit more on the purple side. This is what I just showed you. This is a little bit more on the purple side. Well, there was another one in the box that was more on the blue side. And so what we have here is we have an era print of X-Force #1, which I've looked all over the place and I can't find anything on it. And so I said, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and pick this up, man, because I think I've struck gold. When you find an era print of a book, that actually even makes it better. I mean, for those who don't know, the Venomized Magneto era cover print is almost $500. So uh, who knows? It might be worth 20, might be worth 25. But I thought it was really cool to be able to get an era, color print like that on a book, especially like X Factor #1.
Yeah.
Which I think at some point that we'll actually that I predict they'll be coming down the line at some point. So excuse me, Al, you'll go, my friend.
Well, I didn't have an opportunity to go get my pulls today, so I guess I'll show them on our next show. But I just figured I'd pull from what I've obtained over the last few weeks. Everything that of I'm not gonna say of worth, because all the comic books have some type of worth to them. But anyway, some of the newer stuff that I picked up. So I have Flash Annual. This is the prelude to the Flash Wars. I have the Amazing Spider-Man 795, which is also the Hulk variant here. And that one is going up, Matt. The last time I looked, it was teetering right at $25. Dark Knight's Metal #5. And I have the whatchamacallit variant, the Matina variant, but it's boxed up. I got Ice Cream Man #1, and no, this is not Master P.
It's the Ice Cream Man.
But this one is also a book that's been going up in value as well. I have the
Al, hold on before you go there. I want to let everyone know that if you see that book, you need to pick it up. It's only 10,000 made.
Yeah.
Of that. So it was really a book that I don't really think Image thought was going to really do a whole lot. So
no, they didn't. But it has a series. It's kind of like Tales from the Crypt, because it has a series of short stories, kind of like horror or in like thrillers type stuff. But it's pretty decent. I picked up Phoenix Resurrection #1. I found this right here. I bought 2 copies of it. The Saga 1 Image first. And I got Animosity #12. And I have the last one. It's a company called Burger Books. I think they might be an offshoot of Dark Horse. I'm not sure, but I saw some pretty good reviews on this and figured I'd pick it up. But it's called Incognito Renaissance. So this is a 5-issue limited series. I haven't had an opportunity to read it yet, but I will, and I'll let y'all know how it is. But for the most part, that's all I have until I can get to the comic book store.
All right. Brother Coleman.
I got a few, man. I also picked up the Del Otto X-Men Red #1.
I have that too. I just got to pick it up from my dad. So
I went and picked up the Amazing Spider-Man 795, the first appearance of the Red Goblin. Went and picked that up, and then for my old pickup, I went and found Volume 2 of Black Panther, which is only 4 issues on there for. This was from '88, which the comics look like brand new at this point on that for it. But I got them for the whole set. I paid like $15 for it.
So what's up, man?
Just gonna continue my collection of Black Panther on that for it.
Word life, son.
Sweet. Well, everyone, we want to tell everyone. Oh, go ahead, Al. I'm sorry.
I just put up the too sweet sign, man. You said sweet.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to tell everyone, man, have a safe, happy Halloween, Lord.
Yes, it is Halloween to some folks.
Same thing.
Yeah, Michael Myers, man. Have a happy Valentine's Day. We will be back. Me and Antonio may do a rapid react tomorrow night of Black Panther. We'll upload it to the tube if we get around to it. Want to tell everyone thanks for watching. Had a couple of quite a bit of viewers tonight, and we will be back in 2 weeks, and we'll have our reaction to Black Panther and everything else that is comics related. For Antonio Coleman, myself, Al Rainey, the entire crew, Larry, we missed you tonight, brother. So we'll get you on the rebound. Xavier is doing boyfriend duties, and Vince is somewhere in the snow jobbing. Weldon is still
Parts unknown.
Parts unknown.
One thing before we go, man.
Yes.
Just want to send my condolences on behalf of the Comic Hall to what happened down in Florida today. So our thoughts and concerns and prayers are with you all.
Absolutely. We're definitely praying for those families. Ridiculous incident that happened today down in Florida. And that, it's I'll say this. It's time for gun control. You can subscribe if you don't like that. That's tough love. Tough titty. But it's time for gun control. Stop the killing. Congress, get off your ass and do something. And that's the bottom line, because Stone O said so. And with that, I want to tell everyone have a great night. Look forward to seeing you again on the Comic Hall Roundtable discussion. We'll see you all in 2 weeks. Have a great night.